Hello, Paleo Ken here. Good to see you again. Went pouring rock the other day, and I thought I'm just going to break into some rock today just to see what we have inside some of these larger pieces that I picked up. One like this. Pretty large piece for the area that I'm hunting in, that I'm quarrying in. It weighs 14¼ pounds. It has some cracks in it, as you can see here and here. So I'm just going to break this open. Thought I would video it, see if it's such an odd piece. Thought maybe this might help somebody out. Okay, appears to be in frame. So hammerstone, probably with this sized rock, I could probably use a heavier hammerstone, but this one is pretty darn solid. I've been using it many years. You can see it's pretty rounded, but I think what I'm going to do is try to break this piece off here. So we'll test it and see. There we go. Okay, you can see as I open this up, you can see all the dust and dirt and stuff that's in there. That was a pre-existing crack, but those are the things you look for. Okay, this has some good rock in it, yet there is a crack right there. But I would like to see if we can open this one up further. I'd like to get a good spall off of this. And I guess maybe we'll just use a natural platform. There is a crack right here. So maybe if I strike it here, this piece will come off and clear that crack out. Maybe there'll be a usable piece of chert there. Okay, there is some usable chert in there. Let's see if we can get that in the sunlight. Okay, all right. There's a crack here still. Let's see if we can bust that out of there. Yeah, that flake did not travel because of that crack. So we'll just try hitting it again up a little higher this time. There we go. Yeah, it looks like it's cracked up on the inside. These are all existing cracks in the stone itself. So, but we may be able to get some decent pieces out of this. With a little work. Yeah, there's a crack right there. I don't know how much we'll be able to get out of that. Like I said, this is really good rock, but it's hard to find it in solid pieces. Looks like we got a crack going through there. There's a crack there. I don't know. Huh. That's why you don't stand behind somebody while they're spalling rock. Looks like we got down to some solid rock here. So this area here will have to be removed, but I think we're going to be good to go there. And it looks like we got fair amount of solid rock here. This crack doesn't go that far. Get rid of some of these overhangs. Yeah, there's still cracks there. Right here, there's still some cracks, but it looks like this section here should be good. There appears to be a healed crack there. There's some cracks through here. Let's see if we can clear those out. Yeah, see that? But it looks like I should be able to get a decent flake from right here. That'll make a nice knife or tool. Too much of a cracky there. All right. So I think I can get a flake from right here. There we go. That's a real nice spall. Ah, look at there. There's a crack right there. May be able to work around that. But yeah, you can see that was an existing crack. But you don't know this until you actually start breaking it open. Why don't I try to biface this a little bit, see if we can't get rid of that crack. Take this glove off. Now you see how it's thick here, and thin in the middle. That's dangerous. You have a real good that's a real good opportunity to break this into two pieces if you're not careful. So you need to thin the edges or thin the ends first. And I'm still at this moment debating if I'm going to use this hammerstone. I may use something that's not quite as hard as that one. This one's a little bit softer. Maybe I should have used the harder one. Yeah, that crack goes all the way to the end there, but it might be healed. So we'll keep going until we can't go any further, I guess. Until it does break. If it breaks, it may not. May be able to keep this together. I hope so, because this is really such a good chert. Very high quality stuff. It looks like the crack goes diagonally from here to here. But it doesn't look like it goes through this face. So hopefully support is everything. Got it butted against my hand like this. Got it butted against the palm of my hand, and by putting my fingers in here, I'm kind of adding volume to the stone itself and making the stone think that it's thicker than it really is. I don't usually wear gloves. I do on camera, however, because that's when I have the greatest opportunity, greatest propensity to cut myself severely. There's a law like that that states that the chances of you doing something stupid or wrong is dependent on how many people are actually watching you do it, or something like that. I forget what it's called, but there is a law like that that states that. So, all right. Got rid of that bulb of percussion cone there, and we set up for where I can follow this ridge, where now this crack here is actually kind of along a ridge. So maybe, just maybe, with any luck, nope, broke it. So, okay, well, yeah, you can see there was, the crack went considerably deeper. See this white, light colored area? That's how deep the crack went, and it went in at such an angle. That light area is where the crack is. So, but I've got a usable piece here. That is now solid. Well, I thought it was solid. There's a crack there. All right, well, let's continue our search for a more solid piece. to be worth a whole lot. This may have. It's a pretty good piece here. That concerns me though. That probably doesn't go. That does go pretty deep. Looks like it goes all the way through it. So won't even waste my time on that one. Cracks there. You know, it's kind of a drag. You carry the stuff out on your back for a mile, 2 miles, and you get home and to find out that it's full of cracks. But that's part of it. Maybe I can get, there's a crack there. Like this part here. May be able to. There are cracks there, but looks like I just got rid of them. No guarantees. Well, looks like we got one. Not a big piece, not as big as I wanted, but we have an issue right here, but I think we can get rid of that. I'm not going to get very many of these out of that piece. Getting rid of the bulb of percussion. Got to start somewhere. Looked like a good place to start. Cracks there. Yep. Need to remove this whole area here, so need to prepare a decent platform. But can't really prepare one with all that cortex. Cracking and battering there. Definitely might just be easier to go from this side. But it's not going to give me a lot of material left. I don't know, I might try that with deer antler. Yeah. Took me a couple tries. Didn't do too bad. Didn't do too good, but didn't do too bad either. Sometimes I can bust through this like I just did there. There's some chalk inside. That's why we're having a hard time. Looks like we got rid of it. See how this piece, nice piece, but it's getting smaller and smaller, but okay, well, that might be all I'm going to do with that. Yeah, this has a lot of issues. There. I don't know if I have anything that's going to carry the day. That might be a little bit too heavy. There it goes. Actually, deal with that. I was looking for something larger, but just not going to get it with this stone. Sometimes it's kind of hard to get decent rock even out of a larger nodule. Flake's good. Yeah, I can do something with that easily. You bet. Yeah, let's take some of the sharp edges off of this so I don't cut myself. I was expect to get larger pieces off of this, but looks like I may be able to get something decent here. So it looks like this area here is fairly solid. This side here has all the crap. Well, look at that. We did get something pretty decent out of that rock after all. Well, we got plenty to make small arrowheads with, small points. Let's regularize this and see if there's a little anomaly there, but I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. But let's turn this into a biface and call it good. Yeah. See that stop? That stopped that flake. Right there, you can see where it stepped. So we'll have to attack that at another time, I think. There went the bulb of percussion. Hopefully that doesn't go deep. It doesn't go through. Hopefully it doesn't go too deep either. That'll be a nice knife to cut my steak with tonight. See, maybe I can drive a flake off of there and what I'm doing is called dorsal grinding. Supposedly it helps the fracture of the propagate faster through the stone. And then I support it like that, make sure it's up against my thing, and sometimes I'll even put my leg like that. It went through. That's cool. Still a little bit of it right here. Yeah, it dug down deeply into the work, into the piece, but it looks like it had to. But no matter, I got plenty of room. I can remove these sides here and get this back into the shape that I want. we're doing good on that end. Raise this platform up a little bit more. Well, you get some convexity into this side here, but I think it's fairly deer antler might work better here. Let's see if I have anything right handy. There we go. Let's try this. Yeah, there we go. That took a nice flake right off of there. Probably should have went with that deer antler sooner. Just want to get this biface into more of a shape that's consistent with being a biface, and then we're going to call this one good too. And that'll probably be it. Okay. Right here there's a ridge, so we need to follow that ridge down. Didn't go as far as I wanted, but it did a good job. This is where we may end up getting rid of that little piece that gave us all this problem to begin with, right there. Coming up on that part of the equation anyway. So what I'm doing here is trying to wrap a flake around this here. I do that by supporting it down there like that, tilt it down. Missed. There we go. Gone. All right. That'll make life easier for us to get rid of this. Go. So we're getting rid of that dip that was in there, and turning this into a usable biface. Missed my mark on that one. Didn't go as far as I wanted. Try to remove this flake here. That may set us up for a removal here to get rid of this concretion in there, whatever that is. Yeah, not working. There, we got it. The old boys are probably looking over my shoulder saying, what the heck are you trying to do there, Ken? Hit that thing. Still need to get this, we still need to get this area down. There's a valley here, there's a mountain. We need to bring this mountain down even with the bottom of that valley right there. And that's how you do it. Like that. See how much more even that is? Got rid of that. Oh, and we got rid of these steps here. So that's all pretty golden. Just do a little blender here. Says I. Well, maybe there's a reason why I shouldn't be doing that. So we're going to hold off on that for now. Sometimes if a platform doesn't go the way you want it and it's fighting you like that, just come back to it later. Come back to it later because there's probably something wrong with that platform that you didn't see. And just going back and hitting it and hitting it and hitting it may make matters much worse for you. Sometimes, not always. It's turning into a biface. There we go. I was just hitting it at the wrong angle. We're almost done here. Methinks. See if we can take some and go in that direction. There. That's a lot better. Well, this started out with several cracks, but I think we went the correct route. Yeah, it didn't do a whole lot of good on that series of flakes. Didn't do any damage, but didn't do any good either. There we go. Let's see if we can get rid of some of this here. It's coming along nicely. Setting up other platforms while I'm in the area. Oh. Got a little bit of a flat spot there we need to address. No, we don't have to, but we will, I think. It's coming along nicely. And I'm thinking that's probably going to do it. Where are we at? 46 minutes. Some real nice flake removals here. This is raw. I don't know if this is Edwards or if it came out of the Sands Formation, southern Taylor County, Texas. Yeah, I missed my mark on that one. Now let's just regularize this, make it look like a biface, and we're going to call it good. This is under control now. Still have several opportunistic platforms. Get some good flake removals off of before calling it quits. I'm not real concerned about the shape of it so much, because you can use those odd shapes to build platforms on to remove thickness in areas like here. That may be an odd shape, but I can build a platform to come this way and remove this area here, which I may do in the future. Or I could do it now. Let's see how it works. I said I was going to do it in the future, and I probably should have, because I lost my mojo on that one. But it, it looks better, and I didn't really accomplish anything on that. But we'll just go ahead and abrade these edges. Okay. Took off a little bit more than I intended there, but didn't do any harm. That little hump there. 50 minutes. There we go. Do. All right. there we have it. Hopefully you can see that. So we went through a lot of rock to get that. I got some small pieces. So we got some small pieces there, and I still have some. I mean, I can work on these a little bit more. They still have cracks in them. I might find something solid up in this area, perhaps. So we'll work on that another day. So thank you for tuning in. Mucho appreciate mundo you. Thank you.